Hey y'all, today on the farm we got about 36 to 48 hours worth of rain coming in and we got a lot to do. It has been a little while since I posted a long form video. I have been busy. However, I've not been feeling well, so I haven't been making videos. I've just been working. But we have got all the pumpkins finished harvesting. We harvested a lot of pumpkins this year. I think in the end number was around 3,500 to 4,000 pumpkins off of 1 acre. We did pretty good on that. I started getting some wheat land ready, and we have been harvesting pecans wide open. While the tractor warms up, I'm gonna look over this disc. What I did yesterday was I got the disc out and got it ready. Checked all the bearings, greased everything, got it all dialed in. I started cutting bottoms. These wet bottoms that hold water after we get hard packing rains. I don't know if y'all watched the videos earlier in the year when I had peanuts out here and butter beans. There was water, acres and acres. There's 10 acres of water in this field that would normally be dry land. So yesterday I cut them with a disc so I could get the surface broke open, and then the plan today is, if I can finish before the rain gets here and settles in, I got a few more bottoms in another field I got to cut, and I'm going to drop that disc hook to the subsoiler and rip them bottoms. If you can keep your bottoms subsoiled, the water will not stand in them. It will drain through them, soak into the earth rather than standing on the surface, and that's what we want. We don't want that hard packed bottom with the water sitting in it drowning stuff out. We want the water to drain in to the ground. So this is a red clay bottom in the soybean field that you saw us harvest beans in about a month or two ago. This particular bottom has about 4 acres in it, 4.5 acres in it, that completely drowned out, no harvest. I had got this land ready, did land prep, I fertilized it, I planted beans on it, and got $0 back out of it. This past year I did subsoil it, I did rip it, try to make it drain better, but we got a lot of rains early in the year, in the spring after the soybeans were planted, and it packed this red clay. The more rain you get on red clay, this is going to be news to some of you people that farm sandy loam or loamy dirts. Those farmers that farm way up in Minnesota got that really soft dirt. This may be shocking, but the wetter clay gets, the harder it gets. If we get a lot of rain, this red clay will get harder and harder every time it rains. The rain itself packs the clay, and when you have water standing on clay, it packs it even tighter. While it is still moist, you can cut it, you can break it open, but once it has dried from having water standing on it, or once it's dry from having a hard rain, it gets extremely hard. It packs extremely tight. You can come out here, if I waited for the moisture that's currently here to leave, this bottom has been packed so tight by rain that a plow won't go in the ground. You can take a hair, drop it down at the deepest setting and roll out here, and it will skid across the surface. It will not break the surface. I've had subsoiler feet bent trying to plow, trying to rip red clay. We broke plows, we've tore up all kind of equipment through the years trying to open up red clay. Red clay, the wetter, the more rains you get, the more water stands on it, the tighter and harder it gets. That is the opposite of a lot of soils, but that is how red clay works. So what we're doing today is, why there's still a little bit of moisture right here and it is able to be broke open, we're cutting it, getting it broke open so I can bring the subsoiler out here, and we're going to deep rip it. And that most years will be sufficient. Most years we will be able to farm straight through this. We'll have a good crop out here. Since it is a lower portion of the field, this will be the highest yielding part of the entire field. But 1 out of every 3, 4, 5 years, it will get a lot of rains in a quick period, and it will pack it down, and it will drown out the crop, and it will hold water throughout the year. amount of ground cover, some very small weeds growing out here in this bottom. What I'm doing, besides getting these bottoms ready to drain, I'm prepping the field for a cover crop that will cover the entire field, including the bottoms. We're going to plant wheat out here, but not to harvest. We're going to plant it at a thinner rate, and I'm going to come here and strip rows into that wheat once the time is right to plant corn. All right, we got the subsoiler all hooked up. I gotta go now to Shellman, Georgia, to the Georgia Association of Conservation Districts meeting. I am a soil and water supervisor for the Lower Chattahoochee District. When I get back, though, we're gonna put a few points and different wear parts on this machine, get out there and run it. I do have plans to paint this machine, put all new coulters on it, but we're not gonna do that before the rain. We're gonna put some points on it, just good enough to we can subsoil these bottoms. Then we're gonna bring it back up here, and possibly if we get rain sitting here a few days, then we can start putting all new bearings and coulters and all, and get this thing really dialed in for the long run of getting land prepared this spring. I went by Raymar in Sasser, Georgia to get a shin guard after my meeting. These shin guards protect the shank from wearing out. It's kind of a wider replacement part here up front, and this one was actually missing. You don't want to run it without them, and you don't want to run it with them worn out because it wears out the foot, and that's a lot of money when that wears out. You don't want to do that. So replace this shin guard. I'm looking for the plastic. They make a plastic sleeve that goes over these. It goes up, it mounts under the shin guards and goes around here, and so you wear your plastic out instead of wearing your foot out all the time. The tips on them feet are not in great shape, but they're all in good enough shape. I'm gonna run, I'm gonna put two of these points in the tractor, because if one of them goes out, one of them gets too thin and comes off. What it'll do is it'll get too thin back here on the back side, and it's held on by the roll pin. If it gets too thin on the back side, it'll wear off where the roll pin's holding it, and the foot will fall off. Even if you got extra wear part still here, this back part will wear out and it'll come off. And so I will put two in the tractor, because if one comes off and you just put that one new foot on and all the others are worn out, it's not going to pull right. So I got two, so if one of them goes out on it, I can replace it and the corresponding one on the opposite side. So if the outside one on the left goes out, I'm going to want to put the outside one on the right on as well, or the machine's going to pull sideways because of that brand new fresh foot on one side. I tell you what, I hadn't been feeling great the last few days, and I wasn't feeling good this morning either. But our meetings for GACD are held at a restaurant in Shellman, Georgia. The reason they do that is we used to have a problem getting a quorum. We couldn't get enough people to come to the meetings. So they started having the meetings at lunchtime at a place called the Back Porch. And the Back Porch is known for being the best Southern cooking anywhere. And they found that if you hold these meetings amongst farmers at a place that's known for legendary Southern cooking, that the farmers will come to the meeting. And so I just had an excellent meeting where I bellied up on fried pork chops, turnip greens, and peach cobbler. And man, I feel fantastic. It's amazing what a little bit of Southern cooking will do for you. If you're unfamiliar with a subsoiler, what this basically does, the purpose of pulling this rig is to basically pull the plug out of the bathtub. So water, after it's rained a lot throughout the year, will stand on top of red clay, or it will run off if the ground is uneven. The gist of it is, though, water will not soak into red clay. after it stood on it all year and packed it hard from hard rains, and it's got a lot of compaction issues from the whole growing season. Water no longer soaks in very good. It'll get in the top a little bit, but it won't soak in as good. But when you subsoil it, you break up that compaction and allows the water to soak in like a sponge. So when we have a lot of compaction, the water runs off. When we have deep tillage, the water soaks in. We don't want the water running off. We don't want the erosion. We want the water to soak into the ground. And the best way to make the water soak into the ground is to loosen up with a deep subsoiler. I'm gonna attempt to pull this 11-prong subsoiler 18 inches deep. That's the typical depth we try to go for. That is really deep. This ground has been compacted with heavy rains earlier in the year, so it may be an issue. I may only be able to pull it 14 or 15 inches on the first pass, and maybe catch it, wait for another rain, and then catch it at a different angle. We're going to find out. This bottom is on the left and the right of that transmission line, but every time I pass directly under it, the ground is so hard it picks the front tires of the tractor up off the ground. Just when I'm directly under it. It's not like that on the left, it's not like that on the right. Just when I'm directly under the transmission line, front tires of the tractor pick up off the ground because the ground is so hard, this plow, this subsoil is pulling the tractor up. Well, that's going to do it for today, y'all. That rain was supposed to get in here at 7 a.m. I had a 100% chance. Supposed to rain all day today and all day tomorrow and all throughout the night, and it has yet to rain. I got some light sprinkles. We've got some mist and some sprinkles throughout the day. Had a lot of wind and overcast, but we hadn't had any measurable rain yet. But we did, with the rain holding off, I was able to get my bottoms all haired. I was able to get them all ripped, so that's good news. We're in good shape, so if the rain does come in, they will drain and we will be able to fall in there right behind that rain and get all our cover crop planted. I thank all of you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.